my stoner mind.
Hi there, how are you doing? I'm just wondering whether to do this video with this speaker which is on this box or the speaker that's inside the box, which is the SMD. Anyway, I'm just going to show you something right now, and what I'm going to show you is just a quick little diagram. So this pad, by the way, I got with a pair of trainers that I bought in like 2011 or 2012. They're basically just post-it notes but with Sports Direct written on them. Printed on them. Right, so this is basically for you beginners out there that don't understand what is going on. I'm just going to do this as simply as I can so that you understand. Now, when I watch movies or I listen to music downstairs, what I've got is a laptop that plays the music or the video, so that's going to go there. So the sound and video from there goes to my AVR, which is there. That was a car alarm. Right, so connected to the AVR is a sub amp. So when I listen to music, I can use Equaliser APO on the laptop, which will equalize the sound quite nicely. Also, if I need to, I can use the AVR to equalize the sound because that's got a quite detailed equalizer built in, and it does a pretty decent job. When I watch movies, however, things are a little different. So the audio that's sent to there, you can't equalize that using Equaliser APO, so you've got to stick to the AVR's equalizer. And that does a fairly decent job, at least mine does. But what I want to do is I want to use a little more detail in the equalization, so I'm going to have to stick this over there. And that is because I want to equalize some of the bass, which leads me to this. So I'm going to take this out of the box now. This is it out of the box, and it's going to come in pretty handy. It's the same as the one I've got upstairs. So now I'm going to wire this up, and also I need to make room for this. Not going to be moving the AVR around because that weighs about 26 kilograms, and it's actually bending the TV stand's glass. Right, so I've got this wired up to the AV receiver now, and I'll just show you what I've got on the top right here. So right here we have the power wire because we need power for things to work. This is going to the sub amplifier. This is coming from the AV receiver. This is also coming from the AV receiver. I've got two sub outputs on the back of that. So yeah, I've just connected one for now. I'll experiment with the other one in a while after I set this up and it works. If it doesn't work, by the way, then I'm gonna have to find something else for it to do, such as maybe find its own way back to where I got it from. And this right now is actually placed on top of the subwoofer that will be in my room. That is in my room. It's actually from my car. That is another story. So yeah, this is on top of this for now. What actually is a PITA, pain in the yes, is going to be trying to find a place for this to stay, because right now everything is kind of all right where it is. So shuffling things around is what is going to be the issue. But yeah, I just wanted to show you this. It's pretty much straightforward. Now this thing, what it can do is actually by itself. You plug in an RTA mic and it does everything else. It's quite handy, so yeah, just thought I'd say that. And obviously you can do a bunch of manual things manually. So yeah, what I'll do now is turn it on and make sure it works. Everything else is switched on apart from this, so I'm going to turn this on and it's working, which is great news. Now, if you don't know, I'm using this because I'm not using a home theatre sub. A home theatre sub, a decent one, a fairly decent one, would have something similar to this built in. Obviously, maybe a little more simple than this. So basically, this is going to help me iron out any uneven bass frequencies that kind of get annoying in this room. So, for example, 50 to 55 hertz is actually quite peaky in here. And with this, obviously I can bring it down. I might do it manually because I can do it pretty well. Then I don't need to find the microphone. I'm trying to find it right now. Now what I'll do first is I'll head over to this menu right here. And as you can see, what I've got is a low pass. Now from 80 hertz down to around 20, I'm going to make everything as flat as possible. I'm going to play around with this and yeah, we'll see what sort of results I end up with. It'll take a bit of tweaking, but that is what this is for. I mean, like I said, home theatre subs usually have something similar to this built in, and you know, it's a lot easier to work with, but this does that and more, so yeah. Alright, so it's been about half an hour or so, and I've got some more settings saved, and I've saved them under SMD. So these are what I've done so far. This is more or less the same as it was, but the EQ is as so. So now there's no boominess in this room, and that was mostly because of room resonance. That's been dealt with, and the lows have been brought up a little bit. The most that it's been brought up is 8 dB, and I've compensated for that by adjusting the gain right there. So this right there, the gain offset is -8, which is what that is over there. So that is +8. So if I bring it down -8, then there's no clipping or anything. Also, bringing down the gain offset to -8 on this has allowed me to bring up the volume on the amp that's powering a sub. So I get lower lows and everything is nice. So this right now is the next day and it's quite sunny and warm. Not too sure why that was relevant, but what we have here is FL Studio and I've made this quick beat. So rather than have to deal with copyrights and all that stuff, I thought I might as well make this. Plus this has got the bass frequencies that I want to test in this because I've made it. So what I'll do is I'll just show you what we have. So this right here is an EQ and this will highlight any frequencies that are playing through it. So what I'll do is I'll press play. You're not going to hear anything, but you'll see these over here play first, and then you got these ones in grey which are lower frequencies. So higher frequencies first, then lower frequencies. The higher frequencies start from around 33 Hz to about 53, and then these lower frequencies are from around 20 Hz to about 34. When I press play you'll see them on this and I'll just point them out so you know. So we've got the higher frequencies here and they go up to about 50, 52, 53, and they start off from around here which is about 33, 34. And then these lower frequencies which go to around there. That is about 34 Hz down to 20. So what I'll do now is I'll render this out and transfer it to the other computer and I'll play it on a sub so we can hear it. And because this has all the relevant frequencies I'm after, this track will give me a better idea of how my system now sounds after being EQ'd. And also I'll bypass the EQ just to test it out and you will then hear the before and after. So yeah, I'll just render this out now and head back downstairs. Here we are back downstairs. So what I'll do first is I'll go over to the equalizer options. Now when I watch movies, these lower frequencies are actually quite alright the way they were. So I've increased them quite a bit. Like I said before, I might make some more changes to this. I'll probably bring those down a little bit, but these frequencies right here were the main ones I wanted to bring down a little because of the room resonance. So yeah, what I'll do first is I'll bypass this and I'll play that track and you can hear how it sounds. Also, the mics that are going to be recording the sound right now are back there where I sit, so there's going to be a bit of room noise in the recording. There wouldn't be if the microphones were right by the speakers, which they're not. So I'll play this track and you'll hear how it sounds. Then what I'll do is I'll activate the EQ again and you'll hear the difference. Seeing as though there's not much else for you to watch, what I'll do is leave the camera pointed at the sub. That way you might be able to see it move. It does move a little bit, but I'm not too sure how much. Also, I don't really blast this because obviously I'm in a house. So what I'm going to do now is recalibrate the sound on my AVR, and that is just to make sure that the volume is correct with the sub, and yeah, that should be about it. Obviously I'm going to be tweaking this every now and then, and I'll bring down the lows a little bit. I'm going to test this out with some movies first before I make any, decisions on that. But for now, this should do. I might try this again, but with the other 18-inch speaker in this box. and I'll try to bring out the lows on that. We'll see how that works out. I'll update you on any changes that I make with this, but for now, that is all, and I'll see you in the next one.
My stoner mind.